All right, this is Introduction to Authoring Tools. This is a more in-depth overview of what we're going to do this semester. Not only the technical things, but the big idea pictures, okay? So I want to start with a little story. When I was teaching high school, I tutored after a class, and I had a student, really nice student, um, very charming, sociable, um, but when he read, he was really had trouble reading, and I was with him in class trying to get words out of him, uh, and trying to show it, and then finally, he was getting really frustrated and embarrassed, and he said, "When I see this book, these words, it's like rain coming down a window." He's like, "I don't see the words that you're reading," and it hit me that this kid needs you know, something other than a traditional, you know, phonics and reading instruction I was giving him. He needed technology. Not only technology to help him decode text better, but also he needed technology to get him that information as he was learning. He happened to really enjoy science, and I think he eventually got a job in as a medical technician. He needed to be able to access and communicate that information other than print. As he learned to read better, it would catch up to him. But I could tell he had all these ideas bottled up in his head. He couldn't get them out. Now another story. Here I have 4 products: Crest, Tootsie Rolls, Maxwell House Coffee, and Clorox Bleach. One thing that all these products have in common is that they were all manufactured within 2 miles of New Jersey City University. Not only that, but my friends' fathers worked for all these companies. Um, my friend's father was Tootsie Roll, Maxwell House, Colgate, and Clorox. Not only that, but they all made pretty good livings. They were hardworking guys, but a couple of them had beach houses, right? They all had, car, mortgage, supported their families, um, took a vacation, and they all had pensions after they retired. Now, all of these places are gone. For example, Maxwell House is now high-end condominiums, and so is Colgate. They all house the workers that are in the financial, creative, and information industries that are now in the greater metropolitan area. Those jobs and that education system that educated those guys, who, by the way, most of them didn't graduate high school, were products of an industrial age. As immigration increased and industrialization increased, schools began to look like factories. And actually, it was a very conscious attempt. It was called Taylorism. And what happened was that society needed to get students in, needed to educate them in an efficient way, and then when they needed a certain amount of managers, a certain amount of workers, a certain amount of dropouts, right, to fuel the workers of this industrial economy. But that's gone now. There was an excellent report, a very powerful report by the Department of Labor, the SCANS report, that looked at all these industries: manufacturing, banking, real estate, textiles, and they said 30 years ago, those jobs, banking for example, involved 6 skills. A loan, checking account, mortgage, etc. Today, the average banker has to do 1,000 services. And the skills they need are to learn, unlearn, relearn, collaborate, communicate, show initiative, all these things that an industrial-based education system does not do. Now, even 20 years after that, you see that jobs requiring a master's degree are expected to grow the fastest, while those requiring a high school diploma will experience the slowest growth over the 2010-20 timeframe. So we have to teach kids differently, and we have to teach all of them. The jobs aren't there, and they have to go on for more learning.